For several years, Pokemon randomizers have been a popular way of replaying some of your favorite Pokemon games, and for others, not so much.
No shot!
And I personally started doing randomizers all the way back when I was a wee little boy on my mom's iPhone and later on my 3DS with modded version of Pokemon Moon. And now randomizers have a reputation of being easy or boring, especially compared to the cutthroat Nuzlocks we're used to. But today, I decided to try the hardest randomizer Nuzlocke ever attempted. My goal was to make the barren wasteland of Heart Gold an actually hard challenge. First off, I played with hardcore Nuzlocke rules. Additionally, I banned stat boosting moves and EV trading. Secondly, for the randomizer rules, I didn't do anything crazy like stat or learn set edits, but I did force every Pokemon level 30 and above to be fully evolved. I gave every enemy Pokemon competitive held items, and the two biggest rules that made this challenge crazy was every single battle had 6 Pokemon and every fight was a double battle, meaning I had to take into account both slots and double targets were deadly. Plus, we are playing in Heart Gold, where there are not 8 gym leaders, but there are 16. This was quite the journey. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button, and comment what you want to see next. Here we go. I personally think having the choice between the conventional Pokemon starters is pretty boring, especially the Johto starters. Like, who even likes these things? But luckily, we have the choice of Bellsprout, Spiel, and Aron. First of which, Bellsprout isn't that good without Sun, and God knows when I'd actually find a Leaf Stone. That left Spiel and Aron. I was a little reluctant to pick Aron just because of it having so many weaknesses, but Spiel is just kinda ugly and not very cute and evolves late, so I take my normal absorbability Pokemon and take on the rival, with forgetting that I made all opposing Pokemon a 50% level increase, but my opinions of Spiel hold true as it only uses Water Gun once, proving that Aron was the superior starter choice. But at this point in time, my little Aron was very lonely, so it was time to get him some new friends. Gloom, Magnemite, Krabby, Regice, just kidding, that exploded, Larvitar, Slowking, Clamperl, and Cascoon. And with the new power of friendship, we defeated Sage after Sage, and their 50% level increased randomized Bellsprouts, which didn't even come close to taking us down. The Sacred Guy at the top of the tower had a Manaphy and Chimico that gave us some trouble, but we can now set our sights on wrestling Falkner's Feathers, or rather his Gallade and Houndour, who we made quick work of the dog, but not after getting leered, which would prove to be disastrous when Gallade leers us again, and Slowking falls to a crit assurance and retaliation. I set on my Larvitar, reluctant to use my steel types as Gallade stares us down, but this choice would prove fatal once his Arena Trap Dugtrio comes out. But apparently it wasn't Arena Trap, so I went to my Gloom, but my Krabby would meet the same fate. Aron comes back out to avenge his fallen friend. Then in the face of a Torkoal, I decide to keep my little Aron safe and go to Larvitar. But Weezing finally saw the opportunity and clicked the red button, ending the life of 2 of our dear members. And as Manaphy comes out last, Aron holds on for dear life as he narrows his mission on avenging his lost friends, and it sends a message to me and our 2 remaining Pokemon that blood will be shed and this challenge will not be easy. My Aron, though so young, has witnessed the brutal death of his friends, and along with his buddy Dipshit, we know more will die, and we will keep fighting because this is survival. With only 4 Pokemon left to my name, we narrowly go down to get the Old Rod and start to rebuild our team. Drifblim, Cyndaquil, and the mass murderer himself, Weezing. Just as we are about to enter Azalea Town, a shiny blue dragon meets me in my struggles. And after some Pokeballs, he decides to join the team. Maybe this run actually does have hope. We also get an Espeon, and we get a Forretress who luckily didn't explode on me in Ilex Forest. And once John Cena learned Dragon Breath, it was I who was turning into the mass murderer, shedding deadly breath onto anyone in my path, and Bugsy was next. Even as we stared down a Mew and Flygon, a lesson to be learned here is that it's not the Pokemon you have, but it's how you use your Pokemon, as the Mew for some reason thought it would be a good idea to transform into my Clamperl, so we were able to just focus down the other side, killing the Flygon, and then the Gastrodon. Not after taking quite a bit of damage, but victory was in sight as Jirachi came out last. Drifblim and Latios team up to earn our 2nd badge. Espeon then helps a Kimono girl walk through a linear forest, then we enter Goldenrod City. When walking north to catch a Pokemon, I get a visit from God himself. With a Sonic Boom and a Thunder Wave, I'm sure this is the beginning of our reign of terror on this game. But as we now know, even God himself has his struggles, and today we are not chosen. But maybe we will see him again sometime. But for now, it's time to destroy my childhood enemy as we take on Whitney. If I've learned anything from my time as a Nuzlocker, it's that entry hazards are very good, and my fortress can set up 3 layers of them, which leads to an easy victory. Now it was time to make our way towards Morty. But just as I'm about to enter the city, we get an encounter from God again. This is fate, and now I am prepared, because I brought my secret weapon. Ultra Balls. Welcome to the team, Arceus. Our rival battle got a little sketchy with Fortress being magnet pulled by a Magnezone, but that didn't stop us. I mean, we now had an Arceus, so who could stop us? Enter Gymnast Landon. My Latios got hit by 2 unexpected dark moves. I guess I should have realized that my own Fortress had a dark move. Rest in peace, my beloved Johnson. With this built-up anger, I challenge Morty to a battle to the death. Not a friendly Pokemon battle, but I live in a world where Pokemon deaths are permanent. And I want to make sure that all the Pokemon he knows and loves permanently die, so I would never have to step foot in his gym ever again. And with that, I rest knowing Latios' death will never be forgotten. And on the next route, we find a Celebi, who is said to be only found in peaceful times. A metaphor for, well, I'm not sure where I'm going with that. But it's a really good team member. And on the way to Cyanwood, we get one of the best electric types in the game in Electivire. As I step onto the sand of Cyanwood City, I find a man who wants me to look after his Pokemon in fear of it getting stolen. But what he doesn't know is that I'm the guy wanting to steal his beloved Pokemon. Again, I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here for peace. But I'm here to quench my bloodlust. And your Shucky, aka Bronzong, will just be another pawn I have in my quest to rule the Pokemon world. Thanks, man. After finding Suicune, we run into a Ho-Oh that almost kills my Weezing, but then reveals Brave and kills my beloved Typhlosion. Rest in peace to the best worst starter. Chuck is probably in good contact with Faulkner as he tries to pull the same Weezing trick on me, but I have the power of God and anime on my side, so we make quick work of it. At the Lake of Rage, I shiny hunt and get a pretty cool Kingdra, then we work through the Rocket Hideout with the unstoppable force of Lincoln and Andrew Tate, and then we challenge the old man Price to a battle. Lincoln holds on from an Earth Power, so I go to Kingdra, who gets a special defense drop, but then he reveals his trump card when Mewtwo hits the field. But it was nothing that Andrew Tate couldn't handle, even if I had to dodge a Psycho Cut crit, and we get the gym badge. We then set our sight on Jasmine when Andrew Tate and Lincoln rack up some more kills. I do get in a scary situation when Jasmine decides to use 2 Metagrosses, but Water Slide hits the Hydro Pumps, and it leads us to a victory. On my way to Safari Zone, I catch a Feraligatr, then do a bit of a cosplay to sneak into Radio Tower where I make quick work of the bad guys, and I can relish in the idea that I am doing good work even if I have a ton of blood on my hands. Because as long as I'm doing what my professor told me to do and going to my quest to earn gym badges, I am in the right. But the final admin, also known as Designer Florence, would prove to be a big challenge. Once Magmortar burned my Kingdra and the Garchomp came out, I was in a bit of a pickle. A bounce and a crunch combo leaves Celebi with a sliver, and Dig from Garchomp nearly kills my Arceus. Because of how low my team was, and Primeape getting a Lychee Berry activation, I had no choice but to let Electivire fall, and we get out of a scary fight. And then my dumbass goes to the top of the Holy Tower too early. So we head to get our final gym badge, but not before running into a Suicune who I'm able to whittle down to catch. We then get a Raichu and Blackthorn and challenge Clair's goons. One battle gets scary when Fortress had to dodge a close combat crit, but it was the next trainer after that gave me a big scare. Specifically, not knowing that Zangoose had close combat, which almost leads to a death, but we get to Clair unscathed. Suicune makes quick work of Sudowoodo as spikes go up, but then Porygon Z decides to come out and blast my Suicune. So I go to Kingdra, and that gets blasted by a Tri-Attack as well. I thought I could kill the Porygon, but sadly Kingdra went down. We kill Zangoose and Zam and finish off the rest of the Pokemon, gain us 8 badges. After taking a quick selfie, we head to Ecruteak to challenge the Kimono girls. But before it was too late, I realized that with the randomizer setting, all the Kimono girls would not have one evolution, but a full team of 6. Luckily, I did have a big low advantage, but I swapped into Celebi on an X-Scissor, and luckily I didn't die. Fortress and Arceus made quick work of the first one, and then the next fight went alright with Fortress and Suicune handling most of the Pokemon, though I was getting weakened quite a bit. The next one luckily led with a Love Disc, who was able to leave up for the majority of the fight, and Suicune killed the scary Magmortar. Raichu dodged a Leaf Storm crit, but in true Andrew Tate fashion, we survived. The second to last one was a bit scary with the Lantern living on his sliver and pumping my fortress, but we still got out deathless. The last Kimono girl had a spooky combination of Gastrodon and Gramble, but we barely were able to kill Celebi and Suicune. My team at this point was very low, but luckily the Medicham went for reversal, and then Quick Attack killed the Seeking, and the Medicham just went for Psycho, so we barely dodged a catastrophic loss. After their defeat, the Kimono girls decide to do a little dance while the legendary Corsola shows up. We also catch a Nidoking, which will be very useful, and on the way to the Elite Four, we get an Ivysaur. Now the last thing standing before us is the rival. Arceus and Suicune handled the lead and continued to take names, giving us a shot at the league. As my team of unstoppable monsters enters the league, we know from the start that it is our destiny to triumph over our enemies, and there is nothing that could stop us, except for Destiny Bond. Yeah, this is bad. Will then sends in a Blaziken, and with some pivoting, I'm able to take it out. Discharge gets a double para, but because of Starmie's terrible learn set, we're able to beat the remaining Pokemon. Koga was next. Fortress gets some spikes as Arceus kills Lucario. Arceus continues to take kills, but the double target from Dragonite and Whaler does a lot to Celebi. Celebi gets an Omni boost with AP, allowing us to swiftly beat the rest of his team. Bruno was next. My leads get paralyzed, but Arceus still gets some Hyper Voice spams as I pivot around, leading us to an easy victory. Karen was last. Earth Power killed Metcargo, and then E-Speed killed Hitmonlee. Then somehow my man Tropius rolled Fire-type Natural Gift, which was almost fatal. Then Mothim came in, and yeah, I accidentally swapped to Celebi on a Bug Buzz. Yikes. Then Caesar came out, and I wasn't in that good of a position. All I could do was spam Synthesis with Venusaur as Aggron whittled it down, and thankfully it didn't lead to any more deaths. Here we go. Champion fight with 4 Pokemon. I used Hyper Voice as spikes like usual, but turn 2 double targets results in a death to Fortress. Arceus kills them both, and then the next turn Arceus kills Aggron and Venu kills Hippo. Then Garchomp comes out. It goes for Dig, and I don't have an amazing play. Arceus barely lives, and Petal Dance targets down the Poliwrath. I go Aggron as it digs and use Protect, but I hit myself in confusion. And now I'm worried about Venusaur being in range. And Garchomp gets a Lychee Berry activation, and now I'm really worried about a random target. But I rolled the dice, and with one more Protect, it luckily targeted my Aggron, and we barely make it out alive, and get crowned the Johto champion. But this title wasn't satisfying enough. My Pokemon did not lay down their life to just beat one region, so the journey to Red continues. Kanto in Heart Gold Soul Silver is really odd. The level caps are pretty random, making you run all around the whole region. But we get to Koga, or I guess Janine in this case, and oh yeah, you might notice that there's a Giratina in my party now. Well, after some major losses in the Elite Four, I went on a quest to rebuild my team. Yes, I had a lot of Pokemon in my box, but really they just didn't live up to the standards of my previous members. So while looking for unused encounters, I checked out the Game Corner in Goldenrod, and what do you know? Giratina. Janine starts off with some spooky Pokemon, but with the Regice loving to click Lock On, it wasn't much of an issue. It does get a little scary when Wobbuffet comes out, so I just made it my goal to target down the right side. Luckily, nothing too scary came out. Then I just kept chipping down the Wobbuffet, getting it low from Mirror Coat, and then I realized when Future Sight attacks, it actually has lower priority than Mirror Coat, meaning it was 100% safe to just spam Future Sight and whittle it down, and eventually Extreme Speed knocked it out, giving us the win. Next, we got to Surge and his lovely cans. We one-shot the leads, then a scary combination comes out. But these won't be too much trouble for... yeah. When you use a Pokemon so much and you know its sheer power, it's easy to get reckless and have a feeling of invincibility. And it's these mistakes that haunt even the best Nuzlockers. Rest in peace, Arceus. After this death, I was heartbroken, and I went to go fill the hole in my team. Luckily, with the new region, we had a lot of encounters, but all of them that I was running into weren't of much value, except for Regice, but I knew it had Explosion, and I didn't want to use my Master Ball yet, so I just let it explode. But it was in Fuchsia City where I found mankind's greatest creation, and luckily enough, I didn't even have to use my Master Ball. Welcome to the team, Mewtwo. And just when I thought my encounter luck would run out, I found the sparkly bird himself, Zapdos, who I was just able to catch with a mere Ultra Ball. We also get a Torterra and Rock Tunnel, and we make our way to Misty to challenge her water types. Torterra gets a little low from the lead, but the combination of Joe Rogan and Homelander made sure we were protected from evil, giving us the Cascade badge. Right after, I realized I can still get an encounter west of Cerulean, and oh my goodness, we found a Rayquaza. I threw as many Ultra Balls as I could, yet it wasn't budging. Eventually, it started to struggle, but I knew the time was right. With one Master Ball throw, we acquired a beast. Welcome to the team. With the new team, I knew that we were borderline unstoppable, and Brock was a walk in the park. Until the Tyranitar revealed to have a Chople Berry and almost killed my Nidoking with Earthquake. But because of Brock's poor team choices, we got out deathless. Sabrina was a different story, however. My team was pretty weak to fire, and the lead was two of the best fire types in the game. Just one Heat Wave blasted Homelander, so I was forced to sack Nidoking. We were able to revenge kill, but Porygon Z proved to be an issue. I thought Sabrina would use a potion, but my Zapdos falls victim to Tri-Attack. My team at this point was very crippled, so I had to keep Homelander in, and it barely held on from a crunch. The problem was, I didn't have a good switch, but luckily Nidoqueen decided to not pack a ground move, leading us to a victory, but not after some big losses. The next fight was Erica. Torterra and Magzone killed a few Pokemon, but in just his first battle, Will Smith had to dodge a Brave Bird crit. It did get a little spooky with our matchups, and Bronzong barely lived a Psywave, but we made it out in one piece. Our next stop was Blaine. Homelander was able to get 5 kills over the course of this fight, with nothing in particular we faced being all that scary. So we had a chance at revenge on our rival Blue for merely existing. We made quick work of his Deoxys, then Salamence proved to be a bit of an issue, but some pivots let us deal with its fly as Mewtwo got a few kills. Rayquaza again dodges a crit, but we were finally able to acquire our 16th gym badge. Through the trials and endeavors that my Pokemon went through, it was finally time to take on the last trainer in our path, Scribe Robin. Alakazam goes for Calm Mind, but Torterra retaliates with a crunch, bringing out Blossom. I paralyzed that, then Earthquake as I switch to Will Smith and take some damage from Sludge Bomb and get paralyzed. I bring in Homelander and Will Smith kills Blossom and takes a lot from Gunk Shot. Psychic takes out Muck and Crunch takes out Girafarig. Lastly is Lucario and Slowbro. Aurasphere plus Hail takes out Lucario, and with one final Shadow Force, we complete the challenge. Honestly, playing a randomizer again was a big breath of fresh air from what I'm used to, and I had a lot of fun playing it. If you enjoyed this as well, make sure to like the video and comment what you want to see next. Also, make sure you're subscribed to catch future uploads, and have a great day.